Yeah, it is actually quite cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
Should we be touching, or?
Yeah, no, we could like a Sunny Lab, is that good? Okay, let's set this up. So, Alan.
Michael.
Excited about the opportunity to get online, do a quick video.
Yeah.
Trying to create a new format, 5 minutes, no editing.
I love it.
Real conversation, no BS, and post it.
Yeah. At a stadium.
At a stadium, right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of amazing.
Yeah.
So I talk about you all the time. You know it. Every demo
you make me blush every time.
It's you've been a great partner. I hope we're a great partner. And
you are.
So I wanted to ask you a couple of questions.
Sure.
So the first is, what does Relativity6 do? First of all, tell everybody who you are. And,
Hi, everybody.
And what do you do?
It's a good question, but my name's Alan. Our company's Relativity6. It's actually really simple, Michael. We focus on one thing and one thing only, and that's business activity and business classification. So it's detecting what a business does today, not what they did last year, not what they did when they started, not what they did when they applied for that Dun & Bradstreet number. What is that business doing right now?
And who cares? Who gives a crap about that?
Yeah, who cares about that?
Yeah.
A lot of people, but we think commercial underwriters really care about that. Because at that moment in time when they actually have to decide whether they're going to bind something or not, it's important for them to know, does that coffee shop also have a brewery in the back? Does that barber shop sell beer? Does that nightclub do other activities that somebody might want to know about? It's important, and it's important that they know that, because a lot of times they're not getting the right information at that right time.
Yeah, I remember from being at AmTrust and working with the underwriting team, it's a huge point of friction in the submission process because the carrier has to have it. They're not putting forward a comp submission if they don't have the NCCI code.
Right.
They're not going to do it without the NAICS code, and so someone's got to get it. So I could tell you personally, through InsuranceGIG, their tech platform is amazing. Their data is incredibly accurate. Can you tell everybody, like, how do you view InsuranceGIG? Like, what? It's a unique thing out there. We've been working together. We're starting.
Yep.
But what does it mean to you? Like, how do you feel that we could deliver value to Relativity6?
Yeah, I mean, for me as a tech provider, as a data provider, I think what you guys do is phenomenal because you're a unifier, right? You bring all these different data points and companies together in one place. And my buyer is the commercial underwriter, the carrier. And a lot of times, they have to go and do individual deals with all these individual companies, and that can be a real burden to them. So the value you provide above all else is you make it really easy. You make it a one-stop shop. So they don't have to spend the time and energy to go to each and every place. They can just go to you, and through you, they can access my data, other people's data, and eventually put that stack together that they're looking to do in a way easier way and way shorter amount of time.
What are your thoughts, and I know I'm putting you on the spot here.
It's okay.
I figure you could handle it. What are your thoughts on the transactional pricing? And from your perspective, you've got your model and you're out and you're selling to major carriers and they're buying this enterprise license, and here we are introducing this transactional pricing. I can understand at times, and this happens all the time, where we talk to people and they say, oh, we're already talking to Relativity6. And I always say, well, talk to them about pricing, but we could bring this integration layer. How does the transactional pricing, how do you think about that going forward as a vendor? Is that something that you can get on board with?
Yeah. I mean, we believe in value. We believe in, use it when it makes sense. Of course, for us at the enterprise level, there are expenses. So sometimes there are those upfront fees that we kind of need to charge for those service level agreements. But at the end of the day, it's important for a company to try us out and actually use us in action. And when they see the value, then they can come to us. But I love what you guys do because you make it easy for them to access our technology off the bat before going through all the hoops of getting those SLAs done and those enterprise level agreements.
And what we're also finding is that we're bringing like a whole different class of buyer, where because you're an enterprise platform, you're focusing on the whales, so to speak, or the higher end of the spectrum, let's at least say that. But through some of the partnerships we have with the agency management systems, we're taking a buyer of tech who probably never would have reached out to you, or you for sure never would have thought to reach out, and we're kind of bridging that gap.
100%.
And there's a universal need for your data. So just to kind of wrap it up and keep it efficient, we've got Alan from Relativity6. Tell you firsthand, their data is incredibly accurate. Their APIs are super fast. They're a pleasure to work with. And it's needed. Like if you're an MGA, if you are a carrier, there's a whole host of classification services that they provide, and they're a great partner. So, Alan,
one last thing,
yeah,
Michael,
go.
while we're doing this.
Yeah.
We launched a new feature that we're actually really excited about, which I showed you
Yeah.
in New Orleans.
Yeah.
It's called relevant keywords. So yes, NAICS codes, NCCI codes, they're great. They cover a lot of things, but there's a lot of areas that are missing, and we fill that gap by basically creating auto-generated words about a business in that moment in time. So a good example would be if they do anything in crypto, blockchain, maybe they're a cannabis provider of some sort. Risks that are outside of NAICS that might be important to flag, or even little things like the example I showed last night, where it was a coffee shop that, one of their relevant keywords was brewery. And that was something really important that maybe would have been missed in your traditional NAICS.
And where are you pulling that data from?
So it's a live web search in real time, grabbing all the metadata that we can from the search engines, grabbing all that text, and then picking the most relevant keywords related to
So
that.
what's the output? What does somebody see that's actionable?
Literally keywords, words. It could be, if it's a coffee shop, coffee, brewer, roaster, that kind of a thing.
So then you work with, let's say, the underwriting workbench to say, if this word appears, then flag it.
Flag it. Take another look.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I love the creativity. I love the fact that you collaborate with us and we get to collaborate with you. And it happens to be a cool feature. You and I spoke about some cool ideas about crowdsourcing it and
Totally.
being here and being in this position and having the ability to be innovative and agile, and people are starting to see it. I know the partners that are working with InsuranceGIG but that are using your data, it's working and it's making an impact, and it's faster and it's cheaper, and there's incredible value here. So
Thank you, Michael.
you're a great partner. We really we appreciate all the support you've given. We hope it's symbiotic because we're big fans of what you're building.
Same here.
You rock, brother.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, man.